Well, you start right off, don't you? No, as a matter of fact, I can't disclaim any interest in that area, but right now my immediate goal is to complete law school, and believe me, that's a pretty challenging goal, particularly for somebody who has not been a student for quite some period of time, and I find that this is all I need to keep me busy right now.
A group of high military officers made a statement this week that President Johnson used too much politics within the realm of the Vietnam War. Do you agree with this?
Well, I'd prefer not to even comment in this area. I think I'll let it go at that.
How about the reserves? They stated that the reserves should have been used. Now that you're a reserve officer, do you agree with that?
Well, I'd have to say at this point that my experience as a reserve officer is quite limited, and I'm not in a position to make policy. I'm delighted to talk about experiences that I've had personally, but I'm going to limit my comments to that if you don't mind.
Would you serve again in Vietnam if you were called?
I certainly would.
Do you have any advice for those that are being drafted now?
Oh, I don't know how valuable advice is, particularly not in 30 seconds or whatever we have available here. Certainly, I think that it's a very difficult task. Now there is certainly a natural tendency for morale to deteriorate slightly, and it causes it's more of a challenge, I think, for those particularly in leadership capacity over in Vietnam to maintain the high morale and to make sure that people don't lose sight of their purpose. It's a whole lot easier to keep morale up when the challenge is so obvious, and as it becomes less obvious and becomes a little bit easier to meet some of those challenges, I can see certain psychological difficulties that we'd have during the time that I was over there, which was March of 1968 through April of '69. We were still in basically I don't like to use the word offensive, but in a forward-looking posture, and we're now basically involved in a retrograde type of operation. And I can see how there would be some difficulty and some differences, and the views that I had while I was over there might not be as valid today.